Welcome to this next tutorial, which is focusing on editing. So in the last tutorial we created our project and brought in some media. So as you can see on the bottom here, it actually says drag and drop video clips and photos from the browser above to start creating your movie. You might not see that, again, depending on what version of iMovie you're using, but really what's important is you're seeing these sort of boxes, which is indicating that there's space to bring in clips. So all I have to do is select my clip, and you'll notice when I click the browser window up here that the clip is highlighted in this yellow box. So right now I've selected the whole clip. But if I know there's a specific place that I want to bring in, for instance, if I took a very, very long take, a very long shot, and I just want a little bit of that shot, I can drag this yellow box to just part of my clip. And then I can either just click and drag it down, or I can also press the plus button and it will add to my browser. So there we go. Now I have two clips down in my timeline. All right, so you'll notice if I press the space bar, it plays from one to the other. Okay, so that's the very basic of how to add things to the timeline. If I want to make a cut, for instance, if I want to split this large clip here so I could delete the ending, I drag my playhead, which is this bar that you see moving around right now. I drag it to the part of the clip that I want to cut, and I press Command B. You'll notice now I have 3 clips. I can now select the clip I want to get rid of and just hit the delete key. I can also do things like move that clip around in my timeline. Some other things to note up here is different editors. So I have a crop tool. You'll see I could crop to fill, I could fit. This is more for still photos, which you can also bring into your timeline. I can also play around with the color. If I press this guy over here, I can actually change the speed. I can make a clip go in reverse. Those are very fun to play with. I can also do things like add filters, like for instance, make it a silent era film or black and white. I can also play with the volume. You can see as I roll over it actually says volume. My clips don't have volume on them since they're just screenshots, so I don't have that option. It's grayed out. But if you bring in a normal clip, you should be able to play with the volume right here. Other things of note, if I look up here, audio, titles, backgrounds, transition. These are really fun things to play with. And again, depending on the version of iMovie that you have, these options might be actually down here where you can see my arrow, my cursor moving right now, or sometimes on the side down here. But in all versions of iMovie now, it should say audio, titles, background, transition, or it should have pretty obvious anyway, symbols like the letter T for titles. So here are all my titles, and I can click and play with them. So I'm going to grab one of them. I'm going to use this expand, and all I'm going to do is drag it into my timeline just like I would a clip. I have a couple of options here. I can drag it before my footage, so there's black behind it, and you'll notice it gives me the option to add in my title. I'm just going to put my name. I can also change the font. I can change the size, the orientation, or if it's bold or italic. I can also come here and select a color. And that's this box right here. My other option though, if I don't want just a black background, is to actually select my text and drag it over my clip. You'll see now it's over my clip with that animation that I selected. If I want the text to be shorter, I can, just like my footage, drag to the part where I want to cut and hit Command B and delete. Or I can do this with my footage too. I can actually just drag the end, bigger or smaller. Some other things to play with are backgrounds. These are really fun. The educational globes, people really like playing with those, or the curtains. And again, I just drag it to wherever I want in my timeline. The backgrounds are a great thing to also put text in front of. And just like my footage, I can drag it and make it longer or shorter. I can also play with transitions. Again, it's all click and drag. So here's that dissolve. And with audio, it connects to iTunes, so I can click whatever song and drag it into my timeline. Now you'll notice there's also a music timeline down here. You can drag footage to that timeline. That's just a different option. The difference is that the music down here is independent and can be edited independently, whereas up here, I don't know if you can notice actually, but both the text and the music are sort of linked to this curtain clip with a little tiny line. What that means is it's linked to this clip. So if I, for instance, delete that curtain clip, my text and music get deleted too. I can just drag my title and my music over to a different clip. So now it's linked to this guy. If I delete the curtain, the music is not deleted. So there's all sorts of fun stuff to play with. You can also import your music just like you would any other media. The next tutorial will show how to export.